Hi, my name is Corbin, and in this video I'm going to be talking a little bit about some of the temporal anomaly changes that came today with 10.0.5. Might not be Tuesday by the time I upload this, but I just got done with the raid and I figured I would talk a little bit about it, about a new build that I tried and how I kind of liked it, even though I wasn't expecting to. So anyways, in case you've been living under a rock and you don't know, temporal anomaly has been reworked. So temporal anomaly used to be on a 5-second CD. It used to pulse to about 3 people, and then whenever it encountered a friendly target, it would basically like slow down, stop, and just hang out there. That's no longer the case. It's on a 15-second CD. It has no regard for anyone, and it just zooms past. It also is going to shield everyone in its path. However, the shield is diminished beyond 6 people. So that is a spell baseline. Now beyond that, if you've been playing Evoker, you know, the main reason you're taking Temporal Anomaly is not for the shield. You're taking it because it is a great way to apply Echo to your entire raid. That's a great way to cover your raid with reversions for a lifeline ramp, whatever it is. However, that has been changed. It now only applies to the first 6 allies it passes through, which is a lot worse than it was because it's on a 15-second CD, so you can't get out nearly as many echoes. Now, instead of talking about Resonating Sphere, and the reason I'm not talking about it today, I'll talk about it later, is because there are some bugs going on with it right now. I'm going to be talking about the other option, which is Nozdormu's teachings. So before, the other option here was just to increase the shield. Nobody was taking that. Absolutely everybody was taking Resonating Sphere. So they rightly decided to rework it, and I'm glad they did because this is a bit more of a viable option. So it reduces the CD of your Empower spells, so that means your Dream Breath, your Spirit Bloom, and your Fire Breath every single time you cast Temporal Anomaly. Those things are all a 30-second CD baseline. Temporal Anomaly is a 15-second CD baseline. You get 5 seconds taken off for 3 Empower spells. So you can see how that can be appealing just looking at those 3 spells by themselves. Dream Breath and Spirit Bloom both do decent healing, and then Fire Breath does good damage, and then if you are taking Leaping Flames, it also can do good healing, unlocks your foresight a tiny bit, and also gives you more opportunity to get Essence Burst. However, that is not the main crux of this build that I'm about to show you, and I'm going to explain it piece by piece in case you aren't super familiar with the tree. So there's about 4 talents that interact really well to make this work. The first one is Temporal Compression. So each cast of a bronze spell causes your next Empower spell to reach its maximum level and 5% last time, stacking up to 4 times. So that means any bronze spell, you can press your Temporal Anomaly, you can press 3 Echoes, then you can press your Reversion, you can even press a Stasis to get a stack. It doesn't really matter, it's going to give you a stack. The main point is that you get up to 4 stacks. Now the reason that's important is because this talent down here called Spark of Insight, consuming a full Temporal Compression grants you Essence Burst. So consume that full Temporal Compression, you just have to cast a singular, I have to get back up to 4 stacks, a singular Empower spell. In this case, we're just going to click Dream Breath, you don't have to full channel it, and then you get your Essence Burst. So this is nice, because now I get a free Echo, which is a good way to get out of the Reversion. In addition to that, there's also another talent that interacts really well with those other 2 talents, which is Exhilarating Burst. So each time you gain Essence Burst, your critical healing is increased by 30% for 10 seconds. So that's really good baseline. So those 3 talents all really work well together, and this also works very well with our 2-piece. So 2-piece Empower spells increase Reversion's chance to critically heal by 25% for 6 seconds. So that means if between every Empower spell I'm getting 4 stacks of Temporal Compression, at the end of it I'm going to get increased critical strike healing, and my Reversions are going to have a chance to crit even more. And in case, just to give you a refresher, the way Reversion works is that every single time it critically heals, it extends. So the more it's critting, the longer it's lasting, the more healing it's doing. In addition to that, we are also playing Grace Period. So your healing is increased by 10% on targets with your Reversion. So this not only increases the Reversion healing it does, but increases all of your other healing that's going on at the same time. The other great advantage to this kind of thing is because you're not relying on Resonating Sphere to put out your echoes. You're actually just doing like an actual echo, which means that your next on-echo healing spell will do 105% of the healing will be replicated. So before it was like, when you were putting Reversions out with your Resonating Sphere, these were pretty small Reversions, like they were like 35% effectiveness, but now it's going to be a super strong Reversion. So that is basically the main like focal point of this whole build, is just the idea that you are taking so much CDR off of your empower spells that you're getting really high uptime on not only your 2-piece, which is increasing your reversion critical strike, but also you're getting lots of essence bursts and you're getting lots of increased critical strike chances. So you're doing your best to keep your raid as coded as possible in reversions. So this is going to be really good on basically like fights that have a lot of static damage. It's not going to be very good on a fight like Taros, where it's a bit more like bursty healing. However, the example that I'm going to show you that I tried it on tonight was in Dathia. So Dathia has a lot of just like constant ticking damage from you going in and doing the static discharge. There, like the cyclone happens and there is like the platforms and stuff like that, but it still felt like it did pretty well. And I'm going to show you some logs comparing last week when I was using the old temporal anomaly with resonating sphere with this week when I was using Nozdormu's teachings. So let's look at it. So this is from this week. So you can see I did 102k HPS this week. And if we look at my breakdown, it's going to be by and large reversion, followed by that is going to be dream breath, because you're going to be getting more dream breaths than you normally would. So my dream breath is doing more. Then temporal anomaly, spirit bloom, rewind, and just my other spells. And if we look at last week, I did 94,000 HPS. My top healing is still reversion, but as you can see, I did 12.63 million, whereas here I did 14.24 million. And then my second highest spell here is temporal anomaly. So this week my temporal anomaly did do more than last week, but that's not enough to make up the difference. And that's because on Dathia you're pretty spread out, and whenever it would like hit just like one target, it would of course slow down. However, now with the change, since it's going further and hitting everyone, it's going to be doing more healing. I also got more dream breaths this week compared to last week, as I said. You can see there's a nice like healing difference there. And it looks like, oh yeah, I definitely did like way more spirit bloom healing. And I think, oh, the other thing I kind of forgot to talk about with the talents is that also every time you cast a spirit bloom, really important you're taking the empath, because this is going to help kind of like bridge the gaps and making sure that you're able to get a full temporal compression before you cast your next empower spell, but I'll show you that in the video. So I'd spent all that time talking to you guys about the buffs, so let me show you what that actually looks like. So this is what I mean. So Exhilarating Burst this week had 68.8% uptime. And then, so this is the increased critical strike healing from whenever you get an essence burst. And this is Time Bender. This is from your 2-piece. So this had 47.66% uptime. So let's call it 70 and 50 to make it easy. And then this is from last week when I was playing Resonating Sphere. So my Exhilarating Burst uptime was 48.2% and my 2-piece uptime was 30%. So that's a pretty big difference. So like a 30% difference on the Exhilarating Burst, or 20%. Sorry, my cat is in the way. Hard to do math when your cat is in the way. Everyone is like the simplest math ever. However, you can see there's a big difference in the buff uptime, and that has a lot to do with how much healing my like reversion was doing, and also just how long it persisted on people. And then I'm going to show you guys in a video how I played it tonight, just to give you like an idea of what the flow of it is. Do you remember, I'm going like, this talent just came out today, so my gameplay is not going to be perfect. Also, this build relies really heavily on crit. I'm sure you're getting like the gist of it. It relies really heavily on crit, so I actually do not have that much crit on my gear. My highest stat right now is Mastery. However, I definitely do think I'm going to be trying out some builds, like even dropping eye level to get some more crit and stuff like that. I've seen some other evokers doing that already in the past, trying out different builds, and it seemed to be working pretty well with them, and I think with this build it's going to work even better. So I'm definitely going to be trying that out. I think the ceiling is definitely going to be way higher than what I'm showing you with my healing right now. I think this is just kind of like a preview of what it could be. I definitely think it could be better than what I'm going to show you. Just wanted to give you that little tidbit, because I know that we're definitely going to see some evokers shine with this. Okay, let's get into the video. I'm going to go back to the beginning. Yeah, so this is Dathia. So I always send you this out at the beginning because I have the job of doubling the debuff at the beginning. So the beginning is not going to be perfect, but at the beginning here, I am going to just cast this Spirit Bloom. So the main reason for casting the Spirit Bloom is just to get this buff up here, which is the increased essence regeneration, and just to start my reversions already critically striking. So the ones that I already have out do already start critically striking. And Spirit Bloom is definitely going to be your best. It's not going to be like your highest healing and power spell, but it is going to be your best for making sure that you can get out as many reversions as possible because of that empath talent. So after I do that, I get the mark, I'm going to drop it off, and I have to go dupe it, so you're not going to see me doing the most perfect things. I do still have my exhilarating burst, but it is about to, of course, drop off because I have to actually do mechanics. I'm not allowed to just sit and heal. And then I get over here, I cast a Dream Breath, and again, I immediately get that Essence Burst stack back. I have my 2-piece up, and then once this is close to falling, and I have 4 Temporal Compression stacks, I'm going to cast a Fire Breath. So you could take the time there to get more like Living Flame procs, whatever, if you want. It doesn't really matter. It also depends on how much uptime you want. There's some trade-off there. And then I already have my Spirit Bloom back up. So after I get my next stack, I'm going to put out a reversion. The important thing is that, like, not only are you putting the echoes out, but before you cast the next Empower spell, making sure that you're proccing all those echoes that you just put out with a reversion, because you don't want the Empower spell you're casting to consume those echoes and to use that on the Empower spell. You really want to use that on the reversion to get as many reversions out as possible. Also, this would be a lot better on a fight where you can actually be in range of everyone, because I actually almost already have reversion on everyone that I'm in range of right now. So now I'm casting a Spirit Bloom, using the Essence Burst and the increased Essence Regeneration to get another full stack into a Dream Breath. I'm going to put out a couple more, probably cast a Temporal Anomaly here after that's over. And then cast probably a Fire Breath. Yep. And that's basically the cadence of this entire fight, or like this entire build. Like, you're just doing that over and over again, and just basically just like micromanaging all of your buffs to make sure that you're keeping out as many reversions, and then using all of your Empower spells spaced out enough that you're keeping up your Exhilarating Burst and your 2-piece as much as possible to get all that crit. The only the only part of this fight that I was really scared of is going up here, because most people solo heal these platforms, but I usually was relying a lot on a Life Bind when I was up here. Like, I would do like a stasis with like a Life Bind, Spirit Bloom, and then I would also always do an Emerald Communion. As you saw my talent build there, I actually just don't have Life Bind. Like, if you play this build, you could take a point like out of like Grace Period or something, or also you don't have to take the second point in Essence Burst, but that doesn't help you get Life Bind anyways. So I don't even know why I'm mentioning that. But yeah, that is kind of the scary part. If there's a part of the fight where like you're basically just like completely missing out on your Emerald Communion as a talent. However, you can't not take Emerald Communion because you can't get down to the other talent points that matter, like where your Dream Flight is and stuff, unless you're taking Emerald Communion. So that's kind of like something you have to think about. Like, if you need that ramp somewhere, it's going to matter. However, with the current state of getting less echoes out, your Emerald Communion like is already gonna be less impactful. And they also nerfed Emerald Communion to the point where, like, because that overhealing can't critically strike anymore. That was not a huge nerf, but I still felt it like on our Mythic Razageth rekill on my Emerald Communion ramp. It was definitely weaker when I was looking at it due to that. So, but it's also just gonna be weaker in general now because I'm not gonna be able to get full echoes out. Yeah, basically the whole idea of this fight, just keeping up those buffs, it's super simple. It's a little bit like stressful and micromanagey while you get used to it. Again, I think I played this for the first 5 bosses. I didn't play it on Kurog. I just ended up going back to Life Bind because I think I needed like the Emerald Communion ramp and stuff like that there. And we were like 4 healing that, and that was our first time 4 healing it, so I didn't really want to keep trying this because I was, as much as I was playing it, I was also learning how to play it and just going through the cadence of that. So anyways, if you end up trying this build, please let me know how it goes if you like it. I'm definitely going to keep on trying it. I'm definitely going to try and stack more crit and try it again because I think it'll be a lot easier and a lot more fun and a lot more effective with more crit, since that's basically what this whole thing is just centered around, keeping your versions out as long as possible and having them tick as hard as possible with the increased critical strike chance and the exhilarating burst. Yeah. Thank you so much.